Yeah, a massive trade for the Houston Texans, who are going all in now, adding another big-time weapon. Late in free agency, we've seen them do a ton on defense. Now on offense, they have agreed to terms on a trade for Stefon Diggs, the star receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Stefon Diggs goes to the Houston Texans in exchange for a 2025 second-round pick.
The Houston Texans have traded for Stefon Diggs.
Wow.
Of the Buffalo Bills. Yes, the Houston Texans of the AFC South. The Houston Texans that were supposed to be a dumpster fire for at least another decade or two. The Houston Texans that people were calling a UFL team about a year and a half ago. The Houston Texans that had Jack Easterby calling shots not too long ago. The team that was supposed to suck forever.
The Stefon Diggs trade was quite literally highway robbery for the Houston Texans. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly why Stefon Diggs fits in like a puzzle piece with CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. Now on this play, I just want to show you the absolute beautiful crisp route running that now you're going to have here with CJ Stroud. So right here, Josh Allen is reading this safety. If he bites down, we have one-on-one up top and no safety over the top help, right? So boom, play action, get this safety down. Now you have this one-on-one. Now look as he opens up his hips, get this DB to commit to the outside, and then breaks in on the post. Boom, stops in his tracks, nowhere to go. DB is lost and not found. Touchdown, Stefon Diggs. Guys, I'm telling you, the route running of Stefon Diggs paired up with Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, and an unpredictable running back in Joe Mixon who gives them versatility, this year is going to be different for the Houston Texans. Let's get into the video. Like I said, we're going to break down exactly why Stefon Diggs is the most perfect fit I have ever seen with the football team. But also, make sure you guys do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free. And comment down below, do you think the Houston Texans have what it takes to win it all this season? Let's get right into the video. Now, before we break down some film on CJ Stroud and Stefon Diggs, and even Tank Dell as well, I want to give a big shout out to Houston, man. They made some great moves, starting with head coach DeMeco Ryans. Nobody thought this was going to happen. Nobody thought they were going to go from the laughing stock of the NFL to one of the best teams in just one season, drafting CJ Stroud, the second best quarterback in the draft class. Yeah, that's a joke, by the way. CJ Stroud, insane, best rookie I've ever seen, right? They trade up to number 3, get Will Anderson. People are like, what are you doing? But Will Anderson turned out to be absolutely nasty. And suddenly, they go from being one of the worst teams to one of the best in just one offseason, and are now having another insane offseason where they've added guys like Stefon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Danielle Hunter, right? Danico Autry, Fatou Kassi, Tim Edwards, or Tim Settle, Mario Edwards, Azeez Al-Shaair, who has spent time with DeMeco Ryans in the past with, the 49ers. You also had potential in the DB room with Jeff Okudah and TJ Henderson, Miles Bryant, Lonnie Johnson coming back over here, Mike Ford, Deshaun. I mean, this team is so much improved from last season to this season. They're only going to get better. And last year, they were one of the best in the NFL. Now, guys, how did this team go from laughingstock to best team in the world? One of the best teams in the world?
But what happened? Oh, they hired DeMeco Ryans. What's he? Well, he seems to be the greatest coach of all time. Yeah. Nick Caserio, this guy's supposed to be a doofus.
Yeah.
He was wearing a headset during games.
That's right.
They got weapons. They got a culture. They got a team. And now they add another #1 wide receiver to their team.
And that is exactly right. DeMeco Ryans has brought culture, fight, hard work, dedication, and absolute dogs. They add nothing but guys who want to win football games. They had nothing but guys who care about playing football over the money. They brought in guys who want to win football games over self stats, right? They don't care about what they're doing. They care about what the team's doing. And overall, I think you have to join the Texans fan base, right? Not to be a fan of them, but to be astonished of what they have done, what they have become, and honestly, it gives faith and opportunity for so many NFL teams who are stuck in this mud to actually get out. And there is a blueprint to follow. Just do what the Houston Texans did. So before we get into the video, I want to give shout out to the Texans, the fan base, you guys deserve it more than anything else. And if you guys want more Texans videos, make sure you guys comment down below the number 1. Hit the like button so we can get this video out to more Texans fans. And subscribe if you're new, it's free. But now, let's get into some film. Now, one of the biggest reasons I love Stefon Diggs here in Houston is because he's a guy that you can get to the football early, get the football early, and he can make plays happen, right? Now, in this play specifically, what we're going to see, and I also want to slow it down just a bit, is a quick little bubble screen, right? Trying to get him one-on-one. You got a guy blocking up here. This will be your Nico Collins. This will be your Tank Dell. Someone will come over here and give a good block for you, right? So, boom, let's get it out to our wide receiver, Stefon Diggs, early and often. Great block him to the outside, allow Stefon Diggs to get up the field, right? Now, right away, you look at this play and you say, okay, there's no way he gets more than, I'll give him 6 yards, maybe 7, but there's just no way he gets, anything crazy. You've got a deep safety lurking. You got the DB over here breaking out that, that block. Then you got some linebackers, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, absolutely just coming through, right? So, boom. At this point in time, you're like, okay, you know what? 5 yards. We'll take 5 yards on 1st and 10. But spins, boom, splits the defense here on Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt. And then now he's off to the races. Cuts back in, breaks 23's ankles, gets up the field. Boom, another pair of broken ankles there, gets up the field. I mean, dude, Stefon Diggs is a guy that when you give him the football, whether it be 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage or 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, he can turn it into a 75-yard touchdown on any single play. And that is one of the big reasons why I think this is a perfect fit. Not a guy that you need to, have good protection. You can just give him the football behind the line of scrimmage and watch him work. Now, guys, Stefon Diggs is going to come in and fit in perfectly with this team. Not only is Diggs a playmaker with the football in his hands, but he's also a guy that can make insane catches, right? He's also a guy who can make just insane grabs. Has a really good catch radius on this play. Josh Allen rolling out to his right, getting out of the pocket, extending the play. C.J. Stroud can also do that. But boom, right? I think Stefon Diggs is a guy who fares well with any quarterback because he runs with the quarterback, right? Now look at this catch here by Stefon Diggs. One-handed snag. I mean, this is beautiful. Boom. I mean, this is something you want to see. A little bit too high. Goes up with that right hand. Snags it. Beautiful on 3rd and 15. A guy you can just throw the football up to, and you'll go up there and make a catch.
What's up, H-Town? Stefon Diggs here. I'm excited to get going. Excited to get to work. Let's go.
And then you talk about the family atmosphere here in Houston with C.J. Stroud, DeMeco Ryans, and all of the players that they brought over here over the past few years. This is the ultimate culture that you want to play in, right? It kind of reminds me of, if you watch basketball at all, Miami Heat culture, right? They have a certain aura to them. The Texans, or at least this new Houston Texans team of the past year, they have a new aura to them. And Stefon Diggs is a guy who has proven that he is one of the best receivers in the NFL. And I also think I want to give a big shout out to Houston as well, because they actually turned his contract into a 1-year deal. And that's actually massive in itself. Now, one of the main reasons I think turning a 3-year deal into a 1-year deal, shaving off those 2 years at the end, right? You look at this team, right? Nico Collins, young, still developing, only going to get better. Tank Dell, young, only getting better, right? John Metchie, young, getting better. Xavier Hutchinson, Robert Woods, right? Noah Brown. You have all these guys you really like in the wide receiver room, and suddenly they're not going to get too much playing time, right? Now, Stefon Diggs, we know, is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but is getting up there in age. At some point in time, you have to realize there's going to be a drop-off. It might be this year, it might be next year, it might be 2 years from now, right? But at the end of the day, you are putting yourself in the best-case scenario to get out of Stefon Diggs. Let's just say he has a really bad year. Imagine being stuck with him for 2 more years, not being able to trade him because he's coming off a bad year, right? But also at the same time, having just that 1-year deal gives you the chance, right? If he has a great year, re-sign him to another 1-year deal, right? You don't want to be stuck in the middle of a 3-4 year Stefon Diggs contract when he's about to plummet down a little bit. I mean, there's going to be some sort of drop-off. I don't know how big it's going to be. It might be big. It might not be big at all, right? But at the end of the day, you have versatility. You have a open window to either re-sign him or get rid of him. And I think that is massive for what they're trying to do in the future. But man, now you look at this team, You look at CJ Stroud and Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz and Joe Mixon coming out the backfield who can catch but also run, gives you that unpredictability in your offense. And then you add a Stefon Diggs. I mean, can we just take a moment to look at CJ Stroud? I mean, look at this, right? Offensive line was extremely beat up last year. They're going to be fully healthy going into the season, right? Love that right away. But boom, watch this. Pressure coming up the middle. Let me actually roll it to the left. Wait, actually two guys coming that way. Let me turn back. Go right. Watch this throw here off his back foot, throwing it with anticipation, man. Look at this throw. I mean, do you watch his eyes during this play, right? Looking left, looking middle, looking right. I mean, he's going everywhere. He's looking at every single option and sees this at the last second. Sees, okay, I'm just going to throw this and hope for the best. And wide open. What a throw. What a grab. Dude, I love CJ Stroud. I've loved, you know, his development in year one. And man, now you add a Stefon Diggs. CJ Stroud can make any throw. Look at this window. He's throwing a quick little, you know, post route here in between the defense. I mean, you have a guy running this way, a guy running this way, a deep safety over the top. If you overthrow this at all, it's an interception. But quite frankly, CJ Stroud was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league last year. Look at this throw. You're telling me now you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different weapons on offense that you can go to with Dameon Pierce, Joe Mixon, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, Stefon Diggs, Xavier, John Metchie, Robert Woods. This team is loaded, man. This team is absolutely loaded. Now, last season, the Texans ranked top 15 in both points per game and points allowed per game. They are only getting better. Last year, they couldn't really run the ball too much. They were kind of predictable. And this is something I talk about a lot in terms of NFL teams. When you have a guy like Dameon Pierce who is really good at running the football, you know, getting those short yards, right? You're going to be predictable. And then you have a guy like Devin Singletary who is a little bit more versatile, but I think you need to add unpredictability to your offense. Joe Mixon is a guy that can catch out the backfield, but also run the football and pound it down their throats as well. Joe Mixon is the perfect fit here in Houston as well with his running style. And I think with the offensive line getting healthy, this is only going to improve. Their run game is going to be more dynamic, and which is going to open up what was one of the best passing games in football last season. And I mean, CJ Stroud, number 1 in interception percentage thrown, unbelievable. Number 8 in pass yards per game. Number 15, or actually number 5, I mean. Number 5 in yards per pass. Number 17, obviously got to get this number down a little bit, got to protect CJ Stroud. And then you look at their defensive stats here. One of the best running defense in football, allowed 3.6 yards per carry, right? Guys, think about it. They went down here, they added a few guys. Let me exit those. They added more guys. Dinner Hunter, DeMeco Autry, Fatu Kasi, guys who come in right away and be day one starters. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are going to be insane, right? Last season, they ranked number 9 in QB sack percentage. Yeah, Jonathan Grenard was really, really good. Don't get me wrong. I loved him, and I liked Blake Cashman, who both went to Minnesota. But man, Al-Shaair's, or what's his name? I keep forgetting his name. Azeez Al-Shaair, a great player. Used to play under DeMeco Ryans. Guys, every single move they've made was to help this defense, was to help this offense, make them more versatile, make them more unpredictable. Guys, you're going to see the Texans take a major jump up next year. And, you know, there's not much more better they can get, which is crazy because they could be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, no, you know what? They are a Super Bowl contender. What I meant to say is they could win it all next season.